What's going on, world? It's your boy Wesley. Before you guys get into this, I need you guys to do me a solid. Go to www.talkingdead.com, as you see here on your lovely screen, and vote for me. They have chosen me, little old black me, to be a part of the Ultimate Fan Submission Challenge. So definitely do me that favor. You guys are allowed to vote once per platform, so you can vote on your tablet, you can vote on your phone, you can vote on your computer. Lord knows I'm going to vote for me, so vote for me as well. Thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout the years, and I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be picked. Yes. So look, I just saw myself on TV. Hey, what's going on, world? I'm Wesley from A Connection TV, the network, the one channel on YouTube where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And I am here to talk about tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. Yes, indeed. If you guys are curious about the hoodie, mesh hoodie that I'm wearing, I got it from B87.us. It's a line that's designed by Arquez. So check out that interview because I'm going to be uploading that interview sometime this week, okay? And go to the website. The information is down below. It's really cute, isn't it? I love it. I'm not really into style or anything like that or like fashion, but I'm starting to get into it because the person that I'm talking to is into it. And anyways, he likes good stuff and I like good stuff and we like to look cute. So at the end of the day, check out that website because it's great fashions. I am completely overjoyed. I'm completely overjoyed, but before I get into this episode, because it's not going to be live reactions, oh, I know, right? I wanted to do a full-length video, because when I do live reactions, it's like 80 clips that I have to, like, edit, because, you know, I cut off and cut on, cut off and cut on, but I need you guys to do me a solid, okay? Go to talkingdead.com and continue to vote for me. A couple days ago, I was at 75%, and now I'm at like 62-ish or so. So you can vote every day. Get all your friends, get all your cousins, your cousins, your nieces, nephews to vote, 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 vote. You can vote once a day on multiple platforms, but vote daily. Apparently, I believe that the voting ends on the 29th. So hopefully no more people will be submitted. It'll just be the four of us, and hopefully I'll be on the show. Hopefully, I'm hoping, right? I want to be on the show. I really do. I know that I can definitely bring personality, or my personality, to the show. I think it will be awesome. A lot of you guys connect with what I think about The Walking Dead, so I'm hoping that you guys will continue to vote. So please vote daily. Please, 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 please. So, heads up. This particular episode is entitled Heads Up, and we start off this particular episode like, oh my god, with Glenn being alive. Now, we all knew that he was going to be alive, right? I mean, after the episode where they pretended to kill him off, everybody was distraught and cussing out everyone that is involved with the creation of, or has been involved with the creation of The Walking Dead. But as each week progressed and led up to this particular moment, we all knew that Glenn wasn't going to die. The reason why I knew that Glenn was not going to die or was not dead was because never in AMC history or TWD history have they killed someone off of importance without anyone knowing. Never. And without a shadow of a doubt, it would not have been Glenn to be the first one to go. Like, they wouldn't have never done that. And I already, like, you know, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, they did not do that. First of all, Maggie would know. Michonne would know. Like, Rick would know. They're not just going to kill him off like that. But anyways, that was a great episode at that particular time because it got us emotionally distraught in there, right? We were there. Y'all remember that review? I was bitching and almost damn near in tears. Like, I could not believe that they did that to my boy Glenn. Because Glenn is becoming a badass with a moral heart. Glenn is like the perfect medium between Rick and Morgan. Do you see it? Do you see it? Morgan is like 0, Rick is like 100, and Glenn is 50%. Because Glenn will whoop your ass if he needs to, but Glenn has a heart. He has a concern. He has a care. Okay, he shows compassion, even for little Enid's ass as he goes back to save her little ass. Maggie's gonna be upset. Maggie would not want me to leave you out here. I'm like, what? That sounds like something Morgan would say. But anyways, I'm gonna go down my list of notes. Click this thumbs up button, right? Click the thumbs up button. And subscribe to AK Nation TV if you've not subscribed yet for whatever particular reason, okay? So, we know last episode somebody said help. We don't know who it was that said help, right? Who do you think said help? I'm thinking that it's a trap. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that someone who has the walkie or got the walkie somehow, some way, is leading Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl to a trap. That's what I think. Because it wasn't Glenn. We didn't see Glenn say help. We didn't see that. So I don't know where his walkie was, but we didn't see him say help. We saw him run after Enid's little behind. That's what we saw. Okay? So Glenn did go under the dumpsters. Okay? He went under the dumpsters. And it was realistic because them dumpsters was really, really low. And he had to like really, really drag himself. So what he ended up doing was killing the zombies, which kind of like blocked the rest of the zombies from getting to him. And then we see cans hitting the ground and stuff like that. So we can only assume that Enid is the person that led the zombies away by throwing cans and stuff on the ground to lead the zombies away from the dumpster. That's what I'm thinking. Okay? We didn't see Glenn use a walkie. We didn't see any of that. Glenn was under there for at least a night or two. Okay? No water, no nothing. But he finally comes out. And when he comes out, he's distraught, he's fatigued, he's you know, got dry blood all on his face and everything. And he looks up. And Enid's like, heads up. And Enid throws an opened bottle of water. I don't know. But first of all, was it me, or did it seem like Glenn was crazy for grabbing that dirty ass bottle and trying to squeeze the whatever was left in that bottle in his mouth? But you know, he's thirsty. He needs some water. He's trying to find some kind of water. Mind you, they was in a restaurant. I don't know why there was nothing for them to drink in the restaurant but one bottle of water left. But whatever. I guess the restaurant has been idle for some years now. So I guess there's nothing left. But, you know, he's curious as to the reason why Enid is on the roof. So he goes, you know, here's that moral compass. Here's that 50% leading towards Morgan. He goes to try to figure out why she's on the roof. If it was at 100%, Rick would have left. Rick wouldn't have bothered. Rick wouldn't have cared. He would have called her maybe twice, and if he wouldn't have heard anything, you know, he would have just left and said, I'm out, deuces. But, you know, Glenn, he's Morgan at this particular moment. So he goes and he busts through the window. Enid, where are you? Where for art thou, Enid? You know, and Enid's talking to him, and, you know, he starts asking questions about Alexandria. What happened? Where did that noise come from? The herd broke away. Is everyone okay? And Enid's like, yeah, the zombies didn't get in. The walls are still up. But, yeah, it was the people that got in. You have to worry about the people. And then right away, Glenn is like, Maggie, is Maggie all right? Is my wife all right? Enid's not responding. Enid don't care about Maggie. Enid don't want to be involved. So Enid is not, she ignores him, and then she runs out into the streets. She's out for the count. I'm like, let her go and go back to the town. That's what I'm thinking. So he tries to run after her, and he loses her. And we move past that. Glenn, this is the whole Morgan part of Glenn, right? I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it. Rick is checking the fence, and he speaks to Morgan saying, we need to talk later. I'm like, ooh. What's going on, boss? Maggie is standing watch looking for Glenn to come back. Rick tries to reassure her that everyone will come back. This is that moral side, that human side of Rick. But Rick only has it for people that he's gone through tumultuous experiences with. Rick got his ass beat, okay? And saw Herschel get his head chopped off right in front of him. So he has that connection with Maggie. He cares for Maggie. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be human for Maggie. They've gone through some things. You know, Maggie knows about Lori and the fact that Carl had to kill Lori. They have history. Okay, that's investment. You know what I'm saying? So Rick cares for people that deserve it. That's how I feel. Everybody got something bad to say about Rick. But anyway, Maggie says Judith is starting to look like Lori. And I'm like, oh, Judith, I don't know what Judith is starting to look like, but I don't see Lori. That little girl is getting big. Her eyes is bulging out from her eye sockets. It's so huge. Them eyeballs are so huge. She needs to start walking though, because when Carol was carrying her towards the end, I thought Judith was like 2 feet tall. Girl, Judith need to be walking and carrying a Glock right now. That's what she need to be doing. But that's neither here nor over there somewhere. But am I the only one that realized that child was too big? That child too big to be getting carried. And you know, Carol looked like she was struggling for a second. But anyway, I don't want to move ahead of myself. But we get back to Glenn following back in the city. You know, he decided to leave Enid and leave, you know, go back to town. So Glenn follows the trail that Michonne and the others went on. And he sees the guy that died that wrote the note to his wife that he just newly married, and they was only married for like a month or a couple weeks, whatever it was, a short period of time, because they met in Alexandria, right? So when the dude starts pulling his face away from the gate, the eye pus is hanging, like drooping like a spider web from the gate. And you know, Glenn kills the zombie. Then he sees the note. Then he's like, oh, let me go save Enid, because Maggie's going to want me to save Enid. I'm like, Maggie wants you to come home. Maggie wants to let you know that you're a father. Maggie does not even know Enid's name. Does she? I've never heard Maggie say, Enid, come here. Let me teach you how to crochet. I've never seen that. I've never heard that. So at this point, I'm a bit annoyed that, you know, we are seeing the Morgan side of Glenn. But I'm like, okay, whatever. Glenn is cool because he's alive. So I'm okay with it. One of the funniest moments in this particular episode is when Gabriel, who has not been receiving any kind of play whatsoever this particular season, which by the way I'm not upset about, I'm all here for. We don't need to see Gabriel. We don't need to see Gabriel, but that's fine. Gabriel's up here hanging out flyers, and I don't know what they said, because whenever Gabriel comes across my screen, I care not. What? I'm the one that turns away. I'm the one that goes la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. Okay. I love though when the people give him all of their life by paying him dust. I'm loving it. And it's always hilarious because Rick pays him no mind whatsoever. And he just walks by him with the 2 kids. And he tears the sign down across like, Dad. And Gabriel looks back like, and then he goes back to the thing and puts out the fire again. That's what you get, Gabriel, for going against the squad. After they saved your behind, you were sitting there screaming like a little punk girly girl up on the boulder talking about some help, help. And they killed the zombies and saved you. And now you're playing them for dumb. Gabriel got saved like 15 times. And he still went up against the herd, the squad. Still went up against the squad. But that was funny. Rick was like, no. We're not doing this. That was hilarious though. I got my laugh and giggles off of that. Rick is teaching the punk son, I'm over it. Now I was mad at this particular moment because we all already know that this little boy is a loose cannon. Okay? This little boy may as well scar, what am I trying to say? Dig. Or scrape a W in his forehead, because I'm getting wolf vibe and wolf tendencies from this little punk. And I don't really care. I know his name, but I'm not saying his name. His name is Little Punk. That's what he is. He wants to learn how to shoot a gun. And Rick, I'm so glad. Thank you that we have someone that makes sense on this show. Rick does not trust this little boy. Rick is not giving him a gun with loaded bullets, with live bullets. Rick is like, bruh, no, you're not ready. You're not ready at all. And so, and you know, as I'm sitting here reviewing and talking about this stuff, I'm upset because I'm like, they went through all this. So many people died, but then the tower is just gone. But anyways, we're going to pay. Yeah. So the little punk is learning how to use a gun. I'm over it, right? You and I are both over it because I know you're over it too, right? We can ask Dodd with that. Morgan walks to the doctor's house and, you know, the doctor opens the door, you know, and she's like, how can I help you? What do you need? Rick sees him and says, can we talk now? So we fast forward to Michonne, Carol, and Rick asking him if they let the people go. Because Rick starts the conversation off with 5 people came to the RV and I had to shoot them up. They almost killed me. Do you know anything about that? And, you know, Morgan is like, yeah, I let them go. And Rick is like, why? And then Morgan goes in his whole spiel about how all life is precious and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, boy, no. But, you know, Morgan did have a point. He said it. He said everyone sitting here with me right now has changed at some point. But here's my thing, Morgan. Here's my rebuttal, Morgan. Here's my argument, Morgan. Here is my opposition, Morgan. I'm going to present it to you, Morgan. Everyone that has changed now has changed because of their circumstances and their situations. But they've changed in a way to where they're not going to be a victim anymore. They haven't changed in the sense of, okay, we used to be murderers and now we're good people. No. They used to be regular people and now they're people defending themselves. And if they have to kill to defend themselves, they'd rather be the ones staying alive versus the one, you know, being dead because they're trying to defend themselves. I completely understand that philosophy. Carol used to get beat up like a pulp, you know, by her husband, you know, and, you know, she went through all of that. No more. Carol is not going through it no more. And the one scene, okay, I'm not going to go, I'm going ahead of myself, right? So, you know, Rick gets his spiel. He's like, you're going to have to kill. You know, do you really think that you can survive in this world by not killing? And, you know, Morgan's like, I don't know what to believe anymore. And I'm like, okay, can we get past this scene because I'm over it. Rick just told you, Morgan, that the people that you let go almost killed him because you wanted to be, you know, self-righteous and all of that dumb crap. You know what I'm saying? And I'm calling it dumb crap because there's no need for it when you're dealing with people that just ransacked Alexandria and chopped everybody up to pieces. How can we reason with these types of individuals? We cannot, and we shall not. But Morgan wants to because he still has one in the cell. I'm over it, right? I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. And then we move past that, okay? Michonne and Rick talk about how to get the zombies to move away from the gate. Deanna gives them the plans for expansion. Rick is over it. Enough people have died. He doesn't know where Daryl, Michonne, or not Daryl. Yeah, Daryl, Sasha, and Abraham. He doesn't know where they are. He doesn't know where Glenn is. He's aggravated. He's upset. All of his people have died or have potentially died because of these Alexandrians that never really respected him in the beginning. And he's like, is all this worth it? He's pulling so far away from the Alexandrians, but yet he's staying in Alexandria. I think that's very difficult for you to do, Rick. This is a particular problem with Rick. You know, it's like he's trying to have his cake and eat it too, and you just can't do that. You can't live amongst these people and tell Tara not to save Spencer. You can't live amongst these people and then only want to sleep with Jesse when you're horny. Like, what? I'm not understanding Rick in that regard. But everything else, Rick is flawless. Okay, like Beyonce, right? So you know. We get past that. Rosita is teaching the townspeople how to use a machete. Is the machete the only thing that we need to use or know how to use? Because I have yet to see Carl grab somebody's machete. I have yet to see Rosita grab a machete. But they're teaching people how to use machetes. But they've never used them. Not that I've seen. And all of a sudden, you know, Rosita's like she's one of the people from Into the Badlands, you know, chopping up stuff. And I'm like, girl, you aren't seasoned. But whatever. You want to tell people how to go up and down with a blade. I mean, whatever. Glenn goes back to get Enid, and I'm like, why? He says, I'm bringing you back from Maggie. I'm like, what? Maggie doesn't care or know Enid, and Enid says the same thing. Glenn says, you're coming back. And when Glenn ever did grab that little girl, and that little girl pulled that Glock out on him, the look on Glenn's face, alone was like, little girl, I will slap you in this. He wanted to say that though. He really did. He wanted to say, little girl, I will slap the hell out of you if you pull that trigger. But long story short, Glenn ends up getting the gun away from Enid. And, Enid's like, you're an asshole. I hate you. And, Glenn is like, says the one that pulled the gun out on me. I'm like, Glenn, cut that out. Don't nobody care about these people. I don't. There's not one Alexandrian that I care about. Is that bad? I'm sorry. Is that terrible? I don't. There's not one. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. The only Alexandrian that I care about right now is Becky. Is her name Becky? Or Beth? Whatever her name, the doctor girl. She's the only Alexandrian that I care about. All the other Alexandrians could have died a long time ago. Right? Especially that little punk. Right? So, Enid kills a walker, and she says, what, you think your wife wouldn't want to kill me? Okay, that part was, Enid was mad because Glenn played her. Glenn was like, little girl, you're not going to use that. Give me the gun. And he pulled it away. And, Enid is trying to feel bossy, so she kills a handicapped zombie in the grass. And she's like, whoosh, and you see the thing just come out the head. I'm like, okay, you thought you was bad, girl, but you're sitting here running away from everybody and everything. But you're not bad. You're not that bad. And so, Glenn is like, whatever, let's keep moving. Then they find these balloons. I'm thinking to myself, how long these balloons been here? Who just blew them up? Who's watching them? Because these balloons are floating in the air. And I'm like, right. Okay. Then we find a helium tank and more balloons. I'm like, okay. All right. And then Glenn comes up with the idea to utilize the balloons as a means to signal that they're still alive. Okay. Whatever. But I'm like, I still couldn't understand where those helium balloons came from. But we're going to leave that alone. And Enid get back to the village. And they see that the village walls, and mainly the entrance, is surrounded by zombies, so they don't know how to get back into the village, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, can't y'all just lead the zombies away by just running? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the zombies can't run as fast as you do, so just lead them away by running. I thought that would have just made sense. But, I mean, maybe that's just me, I guess. I don't know. I guess that is just me, I guess. Spencer tries to be a hero, and Tara and Rick save him. When I was trying to figure out what he was trying to do, but he was trying, and I was like, okay, you didn't think that your weight, you thought your weight could support that? I was thinking to myself, like, really, Spencer? He falls down. The zombies try to get him. They miss. He kills a couple. Tara is killing him because she's hanging off the gate like, pop, 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 pop. And she's like, Eugene, go get them to do such and such and such. And I'm like, okay, that's really not going to help. Do you really think Eugene is going to be of any assistance in this particular situation? No. So, Rick helps. The other guy helps. Morgan comes and he helps. And, Spencer is pulled up. Rick then immediately starts yelling at Tara. What was that? I told you don't sacrifice yourself for these people anymore. I'm like, damn. Spencer just got his life saved, but he feels that he should be killed off because, Rick is like basically telling him that he's garbage. He's not worth it. He's not even worth throwing out the garbage on Tuesday or Friday. Like, what? I'm like, okay, Rick, calm down, bruh. Relax. Like, relax, Rick. Chill out, right? So Morgan goes to visit the doctor again and talks the doctor into coming with him to dress up a wound for someone else. The doctor walks towards that way. And Carol sees, Morgan sneaking out of the doctor's house and the doctor looking left and right to see if anybody's watching her. Carol goes and follows them, but she has 5-year-old Edith in her arms. She then goes to Jesse and asks Jesse to watch Judith. I said Edith. Watch Judith kick ass. And, Jesse's like, sure, no problem. Then Sam has a very interesting conversation with Carol. To the effect where Carol says that the only way that you become a monster is by killing people. Which was kind of like referencing her because she's been killing people. But I hope that Carol doesn't get a soft weak bone in her body. And she doesn't because she's going after Morgan. Which, by the way, I don't think Carol likes Morgan at all. Carol doesn't trust Morgan. And I believe that's evident. You know what I'm saying? That's completely evident. But we all are here for Carol before we're here for Morgan. I know that. Long story short, Carol gets to the gate and she opens the door. She's like, who do you have in this cell? Morgan's like, oh snap, I got. Then we get to the nitty gritty, right? We get to the nitty gritty. Rick apologizes to Tara, which is cool. Deanna coaches Rick on being human. The little punk boy approaches Carl with the gun, like he's gonna shoot Carl. Glenn releases the balloons into the air, and then everybody sees the balloons, and then all of a sudden, you hear this crackle. And you see the tower that Spencer was in during the episode when they got ambushed start to tumble and fall right on the freaking gate. Like, word? Like, really? Like, oh my God. Isn't that crazy? I thought that was just simply insane. The fact that they went through all of this trouble. And the tower falls down directly onto the gate and breaks the gate, which means that all of the freaking zombies can come in to Alexandria. What was any of this for if all of the zombies end up coming in? You know what I'm saying? It's like, really? We went through all of that only to lead up to the zombies being able to come inside anyway. I'm over it because, I'm tired of my people going back and forth to locations. I'm like, what? Why? Why are we going back, forth and forth? Back, forth and forth. Like, why are we doing that? But I don't know what's going to happen. This mid-season finale, I really don't. I have no idea. But I am like completely overjoyed by this show. I think this show is just simply amazing. And it's like, this show can't do no wrong. I think a lot is going to happen. I think Carl is going to get injured. I think the doctor lady is going to die. I think there's going to be a lot of deaths this mid-season finale. A lot of deaths. But something tells me that Carl is going to get injured. Or Judith. One of the two. Which, okay, so here's my thing for Judith, right? I think Judith is going to get eaten because she was left with Jesse. And I think that Rick is going to blame Carol for leaving Judith with Jesse. And I think that, I don't know, I'm stretching. I really am. But we'll see what happens tomorrow, right? I want to give a couple shout outs real quick because you guys have been awesome and phenomenal with your responses and voting for me to be on The Talking Dead. So I'm like completely overjoyed and really appreciate you all. But I do want to acknowledge quite a few of you guys. So I want to give a shout out. Let me see if I could stop this real quick. Okay, here we go. Where are we at? I want to give a shout out to ATT Center once again. Saying I'm definitely voting for US. I really do appreciate it. Cemented, I want to thank you so much. Kelvin Lang, Rachel James, Tina Loves Eddie, Rania De Leon, Right Girl Gone Bad, I think that's what it is. Okay. L. Dolphin, Jamel Berry, Vixen Bow, Faye Thomas, The Beauty Lotus, Cal V, Camille Blankenship, Kurt Stark, Lanitria Modique, Dominique Edwards, Lakiki Miss D, Dot C. Dot, Jarquisha Dawson, David Hines, Heather EMC, Kesamir Evans, Nikita W, Me Yair, right? I think that's what it is. Kathy Chanduri, Lady Taz 39, Terrell Daniels, Candace Larkin, Sherry Nolan, Their Galaxy, Elsmeen Zoom, Antonio Jackson, Black Coder, Jaya H, Steffi, Brandon Lino, Razmel, and this is when the names start to repeat themselves. Thank you to everybody that has voted for me. If I did not call your name, I am sorry. I am so in your debt and completely appreciate you guys for taking the time out to vote. If you guys can do that again, vote daily, vote daily, vote daily. Let me get those numbers up. I wasn't 75%. I would love to just win, period, but it would be nice to go up and up and up and up with the percentage. So do me that solid. Go to talkingdead.com right now if you can and vote, 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 vote. Click that green arrow up for me.
Before we started just introducing extra things.
Okay. So this is completely like your site. Like it's
This
not
is
ran through a third party.
No,
This is your site launched by you.
It's launched by me, created by me.
And you have actual
Atomic Beats. Bright lights in the